was your major influence?
Ooh, that's a long story.
Okay.
We're talking about 20 years of a band. So, as my voice, it's hard to say because I don't have like a one favorite singer or someone I was really looking up to, and I was saying like, oh my God, I wish I was her or him.
Yeah.
I always say that my main inspiration was coming from black singers, because what I like about them is that they were really trying to convey their feelings through their voice. And sometimes they were not bothering, or they didn't care about the technique they were using. And I felt that sometimes some singers are so focused, so concentrated on the perfection of their notes that sometimes they lack a feeling and they don't really transmit what they are singing to whoever is listening. So that was the level of singers that I was trying to get inspired from. Then there is another whole range of singers that I was admiring for different reasons. I was a big fan of Madonna, because I really like the fact that finally there was a strong woman in the music business that was doing whatever she wanted to, a woman with balls. I really liked this independence and this strength coming from a woman in the pop scene. It was something really magical.
I know what you mean,
And also the fact that she wasn't amazing, if you think about it, in all the things she did, because she wasn't like the best singer in the world, she wasn't the best dancer, she wasn't the best actress, but she did everything great anyway, because she had personality and charisma. So that was a thing that I really admired. Musically, it depends, because we love music. As a band, the main inspiration was coming, of course, from metal and rock, mainly from the darker side, like Paradise Lost, Type of Negative, or the heavy side like Pantera, Metallica, of course. Also hardcore music. Marco Gotti-Zelati, our bass player, who writes the majority of the music, and Andrea, the co-singer, were into the skateboard scene, so they were listening, to all this type of bands. but everything, from Black Flag. Like so many different types of music during the career. The list expanded so much.
And what was the first album that you actually got? That
I've ever purchased? Well, I remember when I was a little girl, I got a 45 vinyl, and it was Billie Jean of Michael Jackson. Wow. And I still have it at home. And I remember this. And then my house was full of vinyls, because I have the last one of 2 brothers and a sister, four brothers and sisters, and everyone was buying music and everyone had different tastes. So I've listened to everything from the Zeppelin to the Genesis to hip hop and electro music from the 80s and the 90s, which is great. Diverse, I think it's good to be open-minded in music, absolutely.
For sure, And we know that in music we have a lot of sexism sometimes. Have you ever experienced something like that in your career?
To be honest, I never had any problems, or maybe I did, but I didn't really care, and I almost took it as a challenge. I remember when we started. Obviously, I mean, in Europe, it was more common to have a female in the band more than in the States, let's say. So there were bands like, Oz or Theater of Tragedy, speaking of Liv Christine, who's playing today with us, Nightwish, The Gathering. Obviously, for some people, it was weird to see a woman on stage. So, of course, there was someone that would scream, something like naked, but I didn't take it as an offense. I took it as okay, now I'm going to kick your ass. And at the end of the show, you will come to me and ask for a picture or a signature. So I definitely took it as a challenge. It was something that was actually winding me up in a good way, because it was something that was giving me even more energy to kick even more ass.
and you've been inspiring a lot of girls throughout your career. Do you have any advice for girls starting a band?
When we started 20 years ago, there was no internet, there were no MP3s, not even CDs. You actually had to go in a recording studio and, you know, pay good money.
K7, cassettes.
Exactly, cassettes, not even CDs. So everything was completely different. Then you had to send your demo, like physical demo, to the labels, hoping that someone would have ever listened to your music. And it was even difficult to communicate from Milano, where we lived, to Germany with Century Media, the one that became our label, or through fax. Like, it was hard to even talking through the phone because it was very expensive to call Germany. Oh my God. It was crazy. Now you just write a mail, you just send a text, you have WhatsApp, you can communicate immediately. You can even communicate with the people that will buy your music at the other side of the world. So I can only give an advice in terms of, like, be yourself, do what you really like, because usually when you do something with passion, when you really love what you do, what comes out from you, it gets in an easier way to people. If you try hard to be too cool, but you're not exactly like the stuff that you're presenting, it will not go through. You just have to be yourself, you know, whoever you are, however you are, whether you're the best dressed in the world or the worst or the nerdiest, it doesn't really matter, as long as you have your own persona coming out from what you're trying to present. So that's the advice that I feel I can give, because I remember that even myself in the beginning, I mean, in the beginning you're always trying to find, you know, the proper look. Will I look good? What people will think about me? And the more you think about it, the more you stress out, and the more you don't really express yourself. As soon as I started to not to give a fuck about anything, and just like, you know what, I'm like that. Just people will meet me, people will see me, so it doesn't really matter if you stretch and you try to become someone you are not. They will see it. So yeah, work hard and be yourself.
Cool. What are the best points on being on the road and the baddest ones? Well,
I will start with the worst one. The worst one is that, of course, you're missing some luxuries, like your own bed, your own toilet, your own shower, your own food, your own places, most of all your loved ones, so your families, your partners, wives, husbands, whatever, dogs, pets. So that's the worst part of it all, because you miss a lot of stuff. You go back home, life goes on, and maybe something happened and you could have not be there because you were touring. So that's, you know, the worst part of being on tour. The best part is that we are doing what we love. We're bringing our music around the world. We're traveling. I love to travel. I love to meet different cultures. I'm a people person, so I like to meet different people. We have traveled so much that, you know, we know a lot more than maybe the normal person who works at an office and never had the chance to do it. So, I mean, we do what we love.
What is different on playing in Europe and playing in America?
If you go to a concert in Europe, let's say it's a black metal concert, you will only see people dressed up, you know, with black metal t-shirts, black spikes. While in the States, if you're a rock band, if you're a black metal band, everything is rock. So you can see the guy dressed in a hip-hop way, you know, with like sneakers and, you know, a jumper, going to the show anyway. So probably the biggest difference that I notice is in the looks of the people coming to the show. But the energy is the same, it depends from venue to venue.
You have a lot of fans in Brazil. I opened this space for you to send a message.
We love Brazil. We love South America. We played recently over there. Brazil, actually, I remember Brazil as one of the loudest. I swear, I think like Rio de Janeiro, the show that we did, it was loudest I've ever heard in a long time.
They're crazy, right?
Yeah, they're awesome, because for the performer side is amazing, because you, of course, you try to give the best, but when the crowd is on fire, you give twice as much energy. Exactly, there is this constant exchange.
That's it. Thank you very
You're
much
welcome.
for receiving us, for
Thank
your
you.
attention to us. Thank you
No
very
problem.
much.